Hi there and welcome back to my playthrough of Tales of the Arabian Nights. We were not doing actually too bad during the first episode of my playthrough here. The only really unfortunate thing that happened is this grief-stricken status card when we tried to court the lovely maiden. I think that's what called her. But despite of this card, we are still doing actually pretty good. So we are not allowed to use any of our talents at this point in time. But to be honest, I don't think we have really needed them up to now. This might change, so don't know what encounters are awaiting for us. And I was also being told that the secret behind what belongs to what is printed on the backside on these chips here. So purple are apparently the destiny points, whereas the blue ones would be the story points. Thanks for making me aware. Right now we are still on our quest to become the King of Thieves, a legacy from our father, and as we are playing solitaire I could decide on where to place the actual quest tokens. The only thing that I had to pay was 1 destiny point, and that's really not a bad thing. So let's get started and start our quest by moving into Damascus here. And again we have to draw 2 encounter cards, choose one, and I'm thinking of using this encounter card here because this would bring me closer to the western part of Europe here, and this would also mean that I would be able to play my city card of Lyon, which I have chosen some terms ago. So yeah, let's take this encounter card and check out paragraph 70. Again, we have to roll our die. That's a 2. We have to add only 1 because we lowered our destiny points to 4, so that's 3. The city has not printed any value, so we stay where we are, and this would be an unknown beast. And as we are still pretty stricken by grief and we don't really care, we will try to attack it now. Maybe this will heal us from our grief-stricken status card. So we would look for paragraph 897. I won't forget to roll the destiny die. That's a plus. So that's 898 in this case. And here's the paragraph. You have come across a strange beast. Although you approach it with careful steps and making calm sounds, when you draw near it, it suddenly charges. Again, we have to check for the no skill section, which would be directly here. You flee, but it catches you easily, knocking you to the ground. In terror, you await its terrible jaws. But it merely stands over you for a number of minutes, then moves peaceably away. Awesome! So we would gain 1 destiny point, 1 story point, and we get the luck talent. And as we already have luck at the talent level, we would be allowed to increase it to the master level this point in time. And this will give us the opportunity to use this talent or this skill despite of our grief-stricken card, but we won't be allowed to use the master level. We have to use the talent level, but at least we can use a skill at this point in time. Awesome! Then we gain 1 destiny point. Again, we have to add 2 now to our encounter roll, and of course 1 story point. Of course, we are allowed to keep the city card with us, and that's definitely something we are going to do. And as well, we just have claimed our first quest token. Man, that was really a perfect turn. Let's start the next turn immediately and move 1-2 spaces down to Alexandria. Let's check out. Yeah, we have a number 2 printed on the city card. And these are the 2 encounter cards. The elephant's graveyard looks interesting, especially we have met an elephant before. At least we could choose the encounter, but I think we avoided this. And I'm really wondering if these are the remains of this elephant. But I'm still a sailor, so I think I will go for some pearl diving. So then let's roll the die. That's a 1. We have to add 2 because of the Alexandria city. That's 3 plus 2 from our destiny points. So we land at 5, and this would be a possessed hunchback. If that's the same, I don't know. And I'm really thinking of beating this guy because the last encounter was really not that nice, this guy. And we were quite successful in our attack the last encounter, so I think we will really give this one a try. This would be 4-4. Let's roll our destiny die. That's a plus. Oops. And so we have to go to 4 to 5. As you step forward, there's a blinding flash of light. When your vision clears, your foe is gone. And before you stands a fierce lion, growing menacingly. And this was really a very bad decision to attack this hunchback, poor little fella. No skill, you are badly mauled by its claws and teeth. A passing dervish discovers you and tends to your wounds until you can again walk. Again, we gain 1 destiny point, 1 story point, but we gain the crippled status card. So that's 1 story point, 1 destiny point, and this is our status card. You have received a painful and incapacitating injury. Although your mind is as sharp as ever, your twisted visage would teach wisdoms to those who would learn it. In fact, your movement is reduced by 1. You cannot gain or use the seduction or appearance skills, not a problem. In any encounter, you double all story points awards, so that's definitely nice. To lose. If you gain a blessed or respected, you lose this status. Okay, that's not terribly bad, but of course, it's also not really good. I just double checked my quest requirement and luckily I was right, so I was allowed to claim the original quest token from the very first location in Damascus because my reward involved gaining a skill. So that was the luck skill to talent. Unfortunately, that's not the case in this encounter here, so I'm not allowed to claim the second eye at this point in time. But I would be allowed to stay where I am and try it again the next turn, which I will do, of course. So I will stay where I am and draw my 2 encounter cards, and I think here it really doesn't matter because they're not really on our way, so I think I will take Bantus and will discard Laza. So here's to paragraph 8, let's roll our die, we have to add 4 points in total. Okay, that's a 6 plus 4, that's 10, and that's a Mad Captain. And as we are still licking our wounds, I really want to avoid any mad person at this point in time. So this would be 2074. Let's roll our die. No, that stays where it is. And here's our paragraph. While walking along the docks one day, you spy a familiar ship sitting in the harbor. It belongs to Captain Hussein, a corsair you once set up to take the fall for a robbery you committed. As you look on, you see the captain himself disembark from the ship. You turn heel and run back to the room you've been renting, intent on packing your things and leaving town at once. In this case, we do have the luck skill, so we are allowed to use it, and I think I will do that. I've never used any skills yet, so I will definitely do that now. You arrive just in time to witness Hussein's man dragging some other poor soul from the inn. The fortuitous case of mistaken identity provides you the time you need to make it good. Your escapes. 1 destiny point, 1 story point, stealth and stealing. Again, that's awesome. As we already have the stealth and stealing talent level, we would be allowed to increase it to the master level. So let's flip it to the master level. So 1 talent more to use. But it's coming better as we've reached our 8th story point. We are allowed to lose our grief-stricken status card, so we have forgotten that the lovely maid rejected us and we can finally make our own decision. So we are now allowed to use the talent and the master levels, so we would be allowed to choose our paragraph now according to the skills that are available rather than just rolling the destiny die. I think I'm still allowed to do that. I'm tending to consider it to still rolling the dice because I don't want to read all the paragraphs in advance. I don't think that's really a good idea. But we still gain 1 level of destiny. And as we gained a talent or a skill at this point in time, we would also be allowed to fulfill the 2nd quest marker. And now we can claim our reward. When you have claimed both eyes, you become the new king of thieves. Choice of D3 or S3, perfect. Wealth plus 3, maximum, fabulous. And we gain a treasure. As we have fewer destiny points, I think I will increase my destiny up to level 10. So we already reached this level of destiny points. Then we can increase our wealth level up to fabulous. But no, that's only allowed because we have at least one treasure. We apparently have two, but we are really allowed to reach the fabulous wealth level now. This is good and bad. For once, we can win the game with that. But on the other hand, we are only allowed to move 2 land spaces as of now. And so I'm really thinking of using any sea routes as of now. And this would be our treasure, the brass bow. When you receive the bow, you also receive the fated status. If you lose the treasure, you also lose the status. Watch for the bow to appear as a modifier versus strange artifacts and the magnetic mountain in the Book of Tales. I don't have any clue what the fated status card is all about, so let's check it out. Do not roll to determine who you will meet on an encounter chart in the Book of Tales. Designate another player to decide. That player may consult the Book of Tales before choosing. And guess what? I think I don't want to deal with that, because in the solo rules, whenever another player is supposed to make a decision for you, you have to do that and would lose a story or a destiny point. So I don't want to deal with that. I'm still in the city, so I would be allowed to sell this brass bow here. When I lose this brass bow, I also lose the status. I don't gain any wealth level because I can never exceed fabulous wealth, but I think I will really discard both of these cards. Of course, we are still allowed to keep the city card, and then we would be allowed to start our next turn, and this time I will move by sea. I can move up to 6 spaces on sea, so that's 1, 2, 3, and then I can still move 2 land spaces, which brings me to 1, 2 Leon here, and therefore I have a city card. First of all, I have to face the encounter there, of course. These are the encounter cards. I have more than enough city cards on my hand. I'm not a big fan of slavery, so I definitely will take care of the slave here. Okay, let's roll the die. We have to add 4 again. Again, we rolled a 6 plus 4, that's 10, and the slave is armed. How unusual is that? Let's check out the matrix. Even though he's armed, I will really try to aid the slave here. So this would be 199. I could now check out the paragraph for the master levels of luck and stealth and stealing. And yeah, I think in order to show that to you, I think I will play it that way. So I will check out now 198, 199 and 200 to see if there are any skills with my talent level or master level of my 2 skills here. And indeed, there is one. The slave cheerfully accepts your kind words and gifts. Already checked that out, so we have stealth and stealing here at the master level. When you realize that the slave has no intention of acknowledging your gifts, you skillfully contrive to steal them back and hasten away from the slave. D1, S1, stealth and stealing. We cannot exceed the master level, so we only gain 1 destiny point and 1 story point. And how unusual is that? We gift him something and then we take it away. We are really not a nice person. Okay, that's 1 destiny point. And because we have the crippled status card, which says in any encounter you double all story point rewards, I would be allowed to take 2 story points, and it really seems we already reached our goal for this playthrough here. I hardly can believe that. But I think I still will face the city card and will roll the die accordingly. That's a 3. We gain 1 treasure. And our treasure would be the magic tunic. This item has embroidered on it the silhouette of your own true love. On your turn, you may return the tunic to the deck to become married. I think I will really want to check out what the married status would be about. And this would be the married status card. You have achieved a blissful state of matrimony. You now have a husband or wife. Effect: you gain 1 story point when you get this status. The next city you enter, or the city you are now in, is where you make your home. Leave your origin marker there. After you have an encounter in another city, you must return to your home before you may end up your turn in any other cities. Each time you return home, you gain 1 story point and you may roll 2 dice. Your marriage produces a child as ugly as an elderly camel. You become grief-stricken. I don't want to do that. I think for now I will keep the magic tunic where it is. And I think it's time to move back to Baghdad and finish our journey. We are still allowed to move 2 spaces on land and 6 spaces on sea. So that's 1, 2, 3 and 4. And again, we land in Damascus, where we have another encounter, of course. Again, we have to draw 2 encounter cards. We have Tripoli and we have Timbuktu, and I'm thinking of using the Tripoli card here. And again, we have to add 2 to our dice roll at this point in time. So that's 1 plus 2, that's 3. A sandstorm. How awesome is that? And I really think I will hide for the sandstorm, so we would be allowed to check out 759. Again, we check out if there are any master skills that I might possess. And I decided to jump into 759 directly. I only checked out the keyword. He was one keyword that showed a master talent, so let's move on. Travel is impossible under such conditions. You must find shelter against the stinging sand. Okay. Here we do have the luck skill. It says, you stumble upon a handle protruding from the ground. Amazed, you grip it, tug, and small trapdoor opens before you. Inside, you find small room, well stocked with food, water, and jewels. A bandit hideaway. You take shelter therein until the storm passes. So we gain D2, 1 story point, additional wealth level. Of course, we are already maxed out, and we would be allowed to increase our luck skill, but we are already at the master level. And I just realized a terrible thing. I forgot my crippled status card, so I moved 1 space too far, at least during 2 movement phases. So I really do apologize for that, and that's why I definitely won't take the additional story point, because I took the reward of this card, as you can double all your story point awards, but I didn't suffer any penalty for that. So for this encounter I won't get any story point. And for the next turn I will move back into Baghdad, and maybe I will have my very last encounter here for this playthrough. Let's check it out. As I've still not given up, I think I will try to deal with the princess here. So Kiev will be discarded, and we check out paragraph 109. We have to add 2 to our dice roll here. So let's see, that's a 6, that's 8, and this would be an enchanted princess. And I'm really thinking of trying to court her again. I do have lots of talents now, and I really want to try it again. So we will try to court her. That's 206. So again, I have to check the paragraphs accordingly. And I've landed in paragraph 207. Ah, cries the enchanted princess. Your visage is like that of the full moon, and you are wise beyond your years. A most fitting companion you would be, even to royalty. We have the luck skill, so let's see what happens here. Your beloved is embroiled in a legal battle for recovery of the estate of his father. But by a stroke of great luck, the day after your betrothal, new evidence is found and the dispute is finally settled. You are married in wealthy bliss soon after and reside on his estate on the outskirts of a great city nearby. We would gain 2 destiny points, 2 story points, and wealth level +2, and this time we really get the married status. So that's 2 story points, again because of our crippled condition, 2 destiny points. We don't gain any wealth level because we are already incredibly rich. We are now married. Again, we would gain 1 additional story point from that. Now we would be allowed to place our origin marker, and could it be cooler than to place the origin marker directly on Baghdad? And isn't that a very nice and fitting ending for this playthrough of Tales of the Arabian Nights? This is really a perfect and happily ever after ending for this game. So we reached 10 story points and 10 destiny points. We managed to complete 2 quests, and we reached the fabulous wealth level. Perfect ending for a perfect game. To be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed that this playthrough ended so soon. It's completely my own fault. For once, I really shouldn't have used this second quest card. I should have drawn a new card, or maybe should have placed the tokens somewhere different. I think that was definitely too cheap to just lose one destiny point and then put the tokens more or less in the neighborhood of Baghdad. And I think also, of course, I messed up with the crippled card, which I totally forgot to count. Of course, I think this crippled card was not really that bad. This would have maybe required 1 or 2 additional encounters. Not quite sure here, but that's definitely an additional thing. Still, I absolutely enjoyed this game. It was planned as a learning session from the very start, so maybe 2 videos should be sufficient. Maybe I'm really thinking of doing another playthrough, and maybe I'm really looking into Agents of Smersh, but I think I will need some time to prepare something else and such, so I think this will not be the direct next playthrough. I hope you still enjoyed it. Hope you're not so disappointed. I really messed this up. I'm really sorry for this quest card and for getting the cripple status card. But still, I hope you enjoyed it somewhat. Hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. And until then, bye bye.